that did. I remember the vault was down here.
Ooh.
There's new stuff down here. That wasn't down here before. I just deployed a ladder. Oh yeah. Tell me what's in here. Tell me something good. I had to go to a lot of work to get this key card.
Amazing.
What did I get? 5,000 credits and the Crimson Rain paint job for my speeder. I would say that the credits alone made this freaking worth it. Alright, where did I deploy a ladder at?
Anyone could be out here. Where's my support? I feel exposed out here. Oh, I should see about that shipment.
In and out. Just like that, kids. Now, I think that cleared that entire quest line out of my inventory now. Dude, that took like 4 sessions to completely work on. It could be cleared out yet. Oh, I also have one for the Pike Syndicate Vault. Well, we might as well hit that one too, guys. However, this one's in Pike territory where they don't like me. This will be fun. I'm gonna have to. This will be a little more challenging because I won't be able to waltz right in. All right, we need to go down and around the corner. Ooh, we can check the blaster dude while we go. See if there's any. Because I got 5,000 credits now, so I've got money to do some upgrades. Price is so low, you won't believe your optical receptors.
Welcome. Take a look around. Willing to cut a deal to trusted customers.
Let's buy a bunch of parts.
See ya.
See you later.
Yeah, save for sure. Not a bad tip. Save for sure. Alright. I don't know what it is about this game that is triggering people so much either. We were talking about this. Somebody, I would need to go back and it's someone who's been watching the streams. Let me see if it's going to show me on my phone. I'm not sure who this person is. It's not going to show me. It's showing me their raw username. So I'm not sure what their username is in. I can only see when I'm on my desktop. I'm going to look at desktop or look at my phone. Their comment basically, there's someone who's been watching the Star Wars Outlaws streams, and they dropped a $10 super thanks on one of my Starfield videos. They're on episode 8 of my second playthrough of Starfield when I was doing the survival mode back in May, and they're binging my backlog of content. And then saw your post about people giving you a hard time for streaming the new Star Wars game and not hating it like they do. Stay positive. You know, still binging our past content. So Starfield is an interesting thing. Was it my first playthrough of Starfield, not the second playthrough. When I played Starfield at launch, I was coming off of Baldur's Gate 3 and I think Cyberpunk 2077. We did a second playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077 along with Phantom Liberty, I think right before Starfield, or maybe it was right after Starfield. somewhere in that timeline. And holy shit, the amount of trolls. I had to turn. This is an interesting thing. So the vitriol I'm seeing about Star Wars Outlaws is in the comments section of my uploads. I haven't really had anybody come into the streams yet and say anything negative. It's been only in the comments section of my uploads. Whereas when I was playing my first playthrough of Starfield, the 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 anti-Bethesda hate, and I'm an idiot for playing a game that everyone hates because I was enjoying Starfield. It got so bad that I had to put Twitch and YouTube on member-only chat. Like, I didn't allow anybody to chat unless you were a paying member because I don't have a moderator. It's just me. And I was getting every single stream, like 5, 6, 7 per hour of people who were just coming in and would just fill the chat with just like cursing at me and telling me I'm a dipshit and I'm an idiot. How could you're such a loser for liking Starfield and all this stuff? And it's just completely disrupting the chat. And it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go lockdown mode. And I haven't had to do that with Star Wars Outlaws, but I have had way more negative comments on Star Wars Outlaws than I did with that first playthrough of Starfield. It's very interesting the way certain people get triggered. Um, where is the workbench here? Red Dragon says, because they're slow and it takes time to formulate ideas and sentences. Oh, I don't have enough to do anything with here. What do I need? This is story. This is all going to be story related. So I need to progress the main story, guys, before I can really do anything else. Because I'm at a point where all of the side quests I have, not all, but many of the side quests that I have in my journal, other than this one, which we'll do real quick. I did figure out the wind tunnel, but the cave, I need something that will blow up cave walls, and I don't have it yet. There's like 3 of these caves that I can't even get into because I need something to blow up like a cave wall, and I don't have that tool yet. So I think I need to progress the storyline now to get to that point. Yeah, like even this one. Pirates stashed a BT-09F. So that's the thing I need to upgrade my blaster. And I can't get it until I find a tool that's capable of destroying rocks. And that also locks like 3 of the other treasure caves. Also, I haven't looked at that one yet. So I need to find the tool that blows up caves, walls. So we probably need to progress the main storyline. To be able to get to that point. I believe so. Okay, I can't do any... Let's do the ship upgrade.
If you need a ship mechanic
There's also
for
like
the
more
best
ship
there
parts that
is.
we haven't got for the ship, like a turret and other stuff that we can't get because we haven't progressed the story enough. Concussion missiles. Ooh. Ooh. A less maneuverable missile type that does great damage in a big explosion area. That's probably good for ships. And this disables ships. Oh, wow. I don't know. I feel like having ion missiles would... I'm not going to do that yet. I will be prompted if I need to
Come back.
do something for a quest. Alright, let's go here and hang a right. Alright, main quest time, guys.
Hey, with the nav computer and your repairs, how much am I gonna owe you?
Okay, we're friends. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
I wouldn't call us friends.
You will, because I just found you an EML 850 compatible nav computer. And since I know what I'm doing, it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. There's this old wreck buried in Amberine, and it's loaded with compatible parts.
A wreck.
It's not stripped already?
Look, I mean, we tried. The winds picked up, and not all of us have fancy speeders. Then part of it collapsed and sealed it off.
Can't I just, like, boost one off a Pike Cruiser or something?
Not possible. Trailblazer's a custom job. Off-the-shelf parts won't cut it. You're lucky I even remember this wreck. Even luckier that I have a plan. I just, need a Class 11 power core.
And where exactly am I supposed to get that?
All kinds of places, like, you know, Imperial compounds.
We barely made it out of that space station alive. You trying to get me locked up?
I'm just trying to get your ship fixed. You're welcome. And, don't die, all right?
New quest, the wreck. Imperial comm station in Boulder Forest. Do I have anything close to there? Probably Janta's Hope is going to be closer. Victorious asks, do I ever struggle with content to focus on? No, I do not. What will occasionally, well, what has happened in the past, I don't foresee it being a feature for the moment. The next 6 months are pretty jam-packed, man. Like, we're pretty much jumping from new release to new release to new release for like the next 6 months. The 1 month that I don't know of anything is going to be January. So I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure what we're going to do is we're going to fill January is going to be, assuming I get good traffic out of it, we'll probably fill January with Path of Exile 2's early access. And if I'm still getting good traffic from No Man's Sky, we will probably start doing some more streams of No Man's Sky on a more regular basis. January is the 1 month I'm not exactly sure about, but the way, as a general rule, one of the reasons I prefer to stick to RPGs with like classes and stuff, Victorious, is because it's really easy to make guides around those types of games. It's less easy to make guides around this type of game because there's only one archetype. So it's not like I'm playing a fighter versus a mage versus the thief versus an archer, right? Like, it's you know. So when I play these types of games, I don't really do a lot of guides. I'll just do the stream, we do the Let's Play episodes, and I'll do opinion pieces, like, or little snippets of gameplay. Like, as an example, I recorded a video earlier today about my my thoughts on the space exploration component of the game, and that's scheduled to go out tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. That's an opinion piece. It's not a guide. Whereas when I play games like Fallout or World of Warcraft or Lord of the Rings Online, I can do opinion pieces and I can do game guides. Because there's things like, or if I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 or Path of Exile or, Diablo 4, Last Epoch, whatever, pick a class, play the class, suddenly you've got class guides. So there's a general routine that I do. I play a game, I make an early thoughts video, I keep playing the game. If it's an RPG type element, I will then make, here's my early build guide for levels 1 to 5. Here's my mid-level build guide, levels 5 to 10. Here's my high-level build guide. Here's my talent spec. Here's my whatever, and I'll get 6 or 8. And then I always create beginner's guides and tutorials and usually a quick tip series. All of those work very well. You can title them in lots of different ways. But as a general rule, if you just focus on new releases, I don't get massive traffic, so I'm not I'm 2.5 years in. More than that, but February will be 3 years full time. I'm doing okay for where I'm at. Obviously, when we get up to where we have 150,000, 200,000 followers on YouTube, we'll probably have 25, 30,000 on Twitch at that point. I don't know. Twitch could blow up and outpass YouTube. You never know. But as a general rule, um, that rotation has worked very well for me. And there's enough new games coming out that I don't really lack for content. What I will have, though, is content droughts. So there's like a month or two every year where there's like nothing new to play. Or things that I don't want to play. As an example, this year it was like April, May, or May, June. I think it was May, June. I also was traveling throughout the whole month of June, so I didn't focus on a lot that month because I had 3 weeks where I was out of the office. But I remember right before that, I had come off of Dragon's Dogma 2, and then it was like there really wasn't anything new that I wanted to play. And so I went and did, like, the Fallout show came on. And so then I went and did Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. And that was great for like a month. I got a good month of traffic out of those two games and did some guides and some overviews and everything else. And then after that, there was a drought where I didn't really have anything new to play. And so traffic dipped way down for those months. And so you have to be conscious of that stuff. But I definitely don't struggle with content. It's just finding new things to move the channel in a continual upward pattern. Because if you're going to do this for a living, I do try to play what I want as often as I can. Every once in a while, I have to push myself outside of my comfort zone to try new things. I almost did Elden Ring, and I know I'm not going to like Elden Ring because I hate Dark Souls games, Souls-likes, but it was in there, and when I was in a content drought, and I was going to try it, and I was also trying out many different things, and that was one of the things I was trying was No Man's Sky, and No Man's Sky hit, and I liked it, so that actually helped out for the month of August, because early August I didn't know what I was going to do in early August, apart from, like, I knew World of Warcraft was coming on the 22nd, and then I knew this was coming, and then after this we got Space Marine. Like, so I knew the next 6 months are good, but there was early August I wasn't sure about, and then No Man's Sky ended up landing, and so I just decided to run with that. But I had Elden Ring was on the list. I was going to try that to see if it did well for the channel, and if it did well for the channel, I was willing to put myself through the agony of playing a game that I didn't necessarily want to play because it's, generates a paycheck. But yeah, I don't really struggle. I'm a pretty creative individual, and I've been doing this long enough now where I have a pretty good routine of things that I know that work. They are not things that necessarily get me the most traffic, but they do work for long-term SEO value. I could always create a persona if I wanted to and go the Asmongold route or there's lots of different people out there who do the persona thing, and I choose not to do that. I like it. Feel the boost, man. Are we going to that satellite installation? Sorry. Oh, we are totally going up to the satellite installation, and I wasn't paying attention to the path directly in front of me. I was watching the horizon. Gosh damn it. Get on your stupid speeder.
Hold on, Nix.
Shit, those stormtroopers. Also more stormtroopers. Alright, ditch. Get in the grass, get in the grass. There's fucking troopers everywhere, man. If you had asked me that question maybe about 3 years ago, I might have had a different answer, Neftorious. Neftorious said, I'm a variety creator like yourself, but I struggle with focusing on one game for an extended period of time. Most people seem to focus on one game in order to grow faster. Oh, wow. So you just touched on a great topic. And then I'm gonna pause for a minute to talk about this really quickly. Gunboat says the updates comes in September for Nightingale. Who gave me my license? Yeah, I know. I'm a bad driver. Um, I can give you a tip, Notorious. Dun 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 dun. Lee asks, Are you on the PS5? Yes. How is performance? Fucking amazing. It's great. There's three different options. You've got quality mode at 30 FPS. You've got performance mode at like 60, and then you've got another mode that's like targets 40. So you get like 40 to 60 or whatever. It's great. Pick the one that you want. I'm on performance mode. I love it. It's great. It's seamless, smooth. Notorious. Let me talk about this briefly. Here's what I could tell you from my data, and I like everybody should have someone that they listen to who gives advice. There are some great content creators out there who talk about these things. I happen to listen to Co Carnage a lot because he has a style that I really appreciate. One of the reasons I started doing 30-minute Let's Play episodes on my YouTube channel a few months ago was because of that inspiration. I was like, that's a really good idea. I'm going to start doing that. And it's a lot of output, and I have to spend a lot of hours doing cutting and editing, but it has driven my red line up. It has driven my income. It's driven my revenue up. My advertising revenue has gone up, and it has contributed positively to the net subscriber rate on YouTube because I'm just producing more content. More content is more views is more revenue is growth. Um, Here's what I've noticed though. I get about a 2 week, this is me, and this is most other big content creators. If they sit down and talk about this is what you'll hear based on my experience and the people that I listen to. There's about a 2 week window of opportunity that you have for any given game. If you're going to be a variety streamer, you have to be conscious of that. Otherwise, you lose the variety streamer and you start becoming more of focused. I'm going to focus more on this game. So, which is nothing wrong with that, but the problem if you start going too deep into one game, you're going to lose a bunch of interest from people because you're going to start becoming too niche. And the algorithm is going to start to recognize that you're going deep on that topic, and that topic may become more popular for your channel, but then the other things you do won't be. There's a lot of other stuff to this, but the general rule is that what I've noticed and the people that I pay attention to talk about this, you get about a 2 week window of opportunity for any given game you play. There's usually a few days before the launch, and then there's a huge thing up until about 5 to 7 days after launch, and then there's a taper off effect. It's about 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days, give or take in that range. And that's the target window for you creating content around the games that you want to play. You've got about 2 weeks. If you go too long, it's not necessarily good. It can be good, but there's pros and cons to all of this. I personally don't focus on any game anymore that for more than like 3 weeks. 3 weeks is about the max I'll give a game. There are rare exceptions to that. Baldur's Gate 3 was about 6 weeks. I think. I'm trying to remember. Starfield was about a month. Rogue Trader was about a month. But as a general rule, think 2 to 3 weeks. 2 weeks max is what you should be, unless you're getting really, 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 really good traffic, and then you can go for like 3 to 4 weeks. I've yet to see anything that really lasts beyond 4 weeks. Even with Baldur's Gate 3, which has by far been the biggest game that I've had traffic spikes around. We were getting like 150 people in those streams. That lasted about 6 weeks, and then I was back down to like 15, 20 people watching the streams because there was fatigue had set in, and the people were like, "Hey, we're done with Baldur's Gate 3." So I try not to focus on one thing for an extended period of time. The exceptions are things like World of Warcraft because I get a lot of long-term traffic off that, but it's not a main game. I play it twice a week, sometimes only once a week, which is around the raid nights on Saturday nights. And that game, and Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: Republic, those games, also EverQuest 2. I've got a lot of videos built up over the years from playing those games reliably over the years, but they've never been main games. They will sneak in and become main games once in a while in between when I have like a content drought or if there's been like a big expansion that I want to go back and check out, but for the most part they just stay in the background and I just focus on new releases. And another, this is a cautionary tale. Some people know this. A few years back, I was still heavy into like EverQuest 1 and old school MMORPGs, and I multi-streamed with other content creators. We had a little multi-streaming thing. They really wanted to keep focusing hard and heavy on like old school MMORPGs, and I was looking at my channel growth going, I've got like, I had like maybe 7,000, 5,000, 7,000 followers at the time, and I was like, my growth rate sucks. Like, if I want to make the living out of this, if I want to turn this into an actual viable career path, I can't be sitting here with like 9 people watching the streams and like, playing these 20-year-old games, even though I love them. I need to focus on other things. And so when, different people wanted to go do different things, when I made my exit out of that, I made a conscious decision to primarily focus on new releases. And as a result, the last year plus, really, like the last year in particular, I think last July, last June or July, I had like 7,000 followers on YouTube. Now I have 35,000 in like a little over a year. So that's been a pretty explosive growth for me. Other people have different levels of growth. Some people might get 100,000 in it in like a year. But to go from, like 7,000, I think we started 2024 with 22,000 on YouTube, and now we're at 35,000. So it's been, and that's all because I've been focused on new games. So I do like 2 weeks, move on, 2 weeks, move on, 2 weeks, move on. If I haven't finished something in 2 weeks, I'll play it a little bit longer. But as a general rule, I try to wrap things up within 2 weeks. I also have a very strict rule now, which I didn't used to have. If I'm getting less than like 100 views on a video, now I produce a lot of content, and this number is going to be different for everybody. My minimums are not what other people's minimums are. If I have a video that goes out, regardless of what it is, like when I do a stream like this and it's 3 hours long, this gets cut into 30-minute episodes, and I will crank those out. If those videos aren't getting at least 100 views within the first 48 hours of going out on YouTube, then it's probably not hitting right with the audience. And I can tell very quickly if a game is not going to hit because I'll do a 3-hour stream, then I'll cut that into 6 episodes. Those 6 episodes go out, and I will know pretty quickly if those 6 episodes are going to hit well with the algorithm and or the audience. If they do well, then we push on. If they don't do well, I move on. And I got that from Co Carnage talks about this, and I give full credit to him on this. He talks about how he even says it in a TikTok video he was talking. I saw it last night. The same clip popped up. He's like, I feel sorry for my fans on YouTube because I says I do play a lot of games he says I start a lot of games that I never finish for various reasons because I'm not having fun or we're not having fun together. It's not working. Sometimes I'll get 10 episodes deep. Sometimes I get 20 episodes deep. He'll talk about that and then he'll just abandon it and move on to other things. And once I heard him talk about that, I was like, dude, I'm gonna start doing the same thing because I was often trying to force games to work on my channel and the audience just, it's like I'm streaming some random indie title and I'm getting like 6 people watching the stream. I'm having a great time. It's an amazing game, but I'm only getting 6 people watching it, which means it's too niche. It's too, Like that's, if I want to make money and I want to make a living and pay my bills and do this for a living, I do have to focus on the numbers to one degree or another. And I used to be a little more lax about that, but this summer, or this whole year essentially, I said no to, for the most part, I've said no to small games unless, and here's the exception, if it's something I can do in like 6 to 10 hours, Flintlock and No One Wants to Die, those two come into mind. Those are very quick games that I was able to play in like 3 days. So I mashed those in between bigger releases that got me lots of traffic, and then I snuck these two little indie projects in there that got me like no traffic. But they were great fun to play for like 2 or 3 days, and then I would go back to the big release.